then it's just live. It's all live. There is no recording of any kind, unless it's like a screen.
Well, I can record. I have. But typically, I'm like taking photographs.
Oh, yeah. Because I was looking at the song. And that's what you post on your Instagram. It's very beautiful. This is a public. Yeah. Let's see. I always see it's a little peculiar, so.
So then you want to do the live stream?
So that will be like a sort of recording, like grabbing it as is. And the textuality, the video textuality of the actual broadcast is what the actual object would be. So maybe I don't know. Basically true. So I have 4 here, and then I have 5 here. And this is just like a regular switcher. So I'll have basically collecting a bunch of these cameras. They're the more interesting ones. Like I love the look of this. That guy right there, he has it has like a I guess it's some sort of like a system error kind of shit, and like sends these lines. But I feel like when it warms up, it becomes regular. Settings.
Does this these 2 cameras take the same power supply?
No. Well, like with this guy here.
Yeah.
They look similar, but it has different plugs. It's here. The main plug is different.
Oh, yeah. Or is that the same?
It slightly different as well. This one is like pretty good.
I wonder if it's the power supply or if it's.
Interesting thing. Maybe it is the power actually. So if you do,
What do you do? Oh yeah, and those lines are like kind of slowing down. It seems like.
sometimes hit it here and then oh, and they always seem to be different. Oh. Let's see. Oh. So it's when you go into S video. Oh yeah, now it's good. Somehow. That's from the main. Yeah, kind of. What's kind of neat that the GoPro is actually capturing like there's no scan lines. Oh yeah, so yeah, picture in picture. And you can kind of move it around.
Yeah, it's cheesy.
And then you can do also a sort of effect.
Yeah, I was seeing if you could do like a key
Yeah, so I'm not fully.
or the software to do it properly.
Technically, yes. I think you gotta connect it there, and maybe you can like preload. Same thing. See how there's like a still? You can get a still or just a black. You have to preload, so you go into there. And all of these are the audio ones. If you can pop this guy in, sound. It's not set to do that. Uh, it's another. Yeah, look, it's one to back. One good help. There was a stupid thing at first. I couldn't understand the difference in like I understand there's a coax cable, and there's like an HDMI cable, or SDI cable, like different names. But the actual cable is all the same. It's really just connectors on each side. Well, BNC, that's just a physical connector, but it's also the decoder. So each one just have a different decoder at one end and the other.
Yeah.
So couldn't fully understand this. But then when I started actually opening and looking inside the cables, I'm like, oh yeah, these are all fucking the same thing. So in theory,
Sort of. There are some that are rated for higher definition.
yeah, so you can send more like just more information
More
through it.
data.
Yeah, more data. But if you you have a shitty HDMI cable, you cut the two ends of it, and then it becomes a coax cable instead. You collect it like in the or because coax cable plug in on each side, and it's an RCA. You plug in the RCA connectors. I don't know what those are called. Like
RCA.
like these are RCA connectors, right?
Yeah.
You connect that, and boom, now it's an RCA cable. So that was
You do like. That's not the right way to do it because your impedances are off.
so what's an impedance?
It's like the resistance of the cable.
So in a sense, something can impede its broadcast. So something
So
else
like
can
if
get into it.
you cut like a BNC cable and you just put RCA's on it, you're probably increasing the impedance by some number. So that will mean that the signal will be weaker traveling through it because it's resisting it more. So if you want like fidelity, you'll have to get like crimping.
Yeah, definitely I don't want for that. So it's like this. I was like, oh, give it a long RCA and then just put these guys on.
Oh yeah. It's just awkward.
Fucking no. This is taking out a bunch of it. This is my port for this one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's just copper, but like especially if you don't care about it.
So especially for where you saw it, like, oh, and then so now it has opened in my mind that I can actually stretch out these cameras, so I can actually put them further enough, especially the analog ones. Just bring them back and don't need to. So I was trying to do this thing where I have like a camera and then the little contraption in the back. So RCA right into a digital converter and then into SDI, and then SDI is here. Just get shit onto SDIs. But that was just creating a lot of like complications. Like basically do this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
some this and then SDI, then you can throw those because with HDMIs, the longer HDMI cable get, the shittier the signal is. Like it's not this can't handle.
Yeah, SDI I think can run longer.
Yeah. So this is why usually all the professional shit is SDI.
Yeah.
Because that way you can go. But the other thing you can do is RCA. That shit can go forever if you like.
Yeah, it's not great cable.
Yeah. But for this sort of logic, it's enough. And then I'll bring everything here, up, res. And then hopefully it's so. Right now, my goal is to get 5 cameras and 3, so it'll be 8. So 8 guys, so you can cut in between.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then another one that I was kind of thinking of doing is making, let's say, like a video wall like this with TVs, but have a different video on each one of those from a single source. So the HDMI ones that people sell that out pretty easily. When you can do like one HDMI source into 9 or into 4 or like 6, and then just have each one have HDMI to like these guys. These are pretty cheap. Each HDMI in and the RCA out, and boom, I'm going to that. So I thought maybe I'll get that. There's somebody released a new one, and it's like for $300. It's 9.
That's my friend's video wall.
Fucking PMCs. Wow. So what was this? Did you make this?
No.
Who's this? Is this the?
It's a,
Is it a woman?
No.
Okay.
Masashi.
Okay.
He's using. He has these like these MadMapper specific Raspberry Pis. They have like MadMapper loaded onto it.
That's the one you use for ads in MadMapper, right? Or no?
No, just our Raspberry Pis.
MadMapper. That's the thing that separates them.
It's a protection mapping software.
Yeah.
But he has it. He has a an Ethernet switch. So he has Ethernet coming from his computer, which is the thing that's displaying the video, and the MadMapper software thing. And then he has the Ethernet going to each MadMapper box, and that encodes one section of the video. So So he can like adjust everything with each individual.
But so then he's looking on his main computer. He's looking at MapMapper, and it shows him the 9 screens. And he's like, okay, I want the video in this and the video in this, and they all start at the same time. You have like,
Because it can either be the same video or it can be
so then you just switch. So while that's nice, and that's a pretty good setup. The reason I thought that it would be simpler to get those basically that splitter like this guy.
yeah, like
It would be in a
This
sense
is like
way
a-
cheaper, like a cheaper way to do that, and a more streamlined. Because this way, like this, because this way, what I can do is make a video that has like one piece, and then it separates it immediately into a bunch of any kind of setup you have. So this way, you don't have to think or anything. You just plug in HDD into it, and then on the computer, like After Effects or something, create a video file that fits each of those screens. So then,
Yeah.
rather than doing an individual one, and then it'll be one file, and then they're all the same.
yeah, I know he's just one file too, but it's just like
Yeah, so it's one file that then. So now you're looking at the video, and then you separated them in the Maverick. And
yeah,
that's it.
like well, because like with this setup, your screen geometries are different.
Yeah.
So with that video wall controller, you wouldn't be able to readjust where your screens are.
No, not. You can only do that in basically when you're editing the video itself.
With MadMapper, it shows you the image and it shows you the displays, and you can move the displays. So if you want like say it's someone's head, and like you can have the eye there and the mouth there, and then like the mouth there.
What is it called? MadMapper.
Yeah. Or there's like Resroom does it too. But the problem with that setup though is that it is actually gets pretty expensive. Because I think each MadMapper box is like yeah. And it's just it's like a Raspberry Pi 2 or something. It's like a but it's a very flexible setup for what he's doing. Like he's doing installs for iron stuff. So for that, it's like it's worth it because he has all the same screen.
Yeah.
So they're all the same size.
Because this way, I was thinking, if I get that, then I see
Oh, there's that.
computer is that, so I can be like, okay, in the video, I can place them so that between here and here, it's the real video, not like a video that ends here and then begins here, rather than there's actual video in between.
It's like you're looking at middle windows into a darker.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's an even funnier and cheaper way of doing it, and that's getting a bunch of cameras pointing at the screen and sending each camera to its own screen. You know?
That could arrange. I can arrange right now because I do have enough kit, especially because I have a bunch of these ones, like regular.
Yeah. So my friend Jonas did it too, where he made this like bracket system where it was just like these metal shelving brackets or something, like 3 rows of them, and he just mounted the cameras on there, and then like positioned them so that they were looking at the right section video. And then that way, if you're doing it like this, you're just hand positioning what camera you're looking at what. You can adjust it freely to
With one screen that plays all the videos.
the one screen is your master screen that you're looking at with all the cameras, and then that plays across it. But that's like the cheap, quick, dirty way of doing it.
And on these kinds of screens, like that screen is filming this one, right?
That
But I feel like it's pointing here.
it's just like it's just general.
Oh, because when you do zoom in, like on analog TVs, there's very little, if you don't notice much. You can have one TV that displays something else. Something else. Okay, the other thing is this guy, I don't have a video input for it. I need one quick. Now, something to record that. Just take a look here. It is this one. Wow. Oh, I see. Fuck, I got confused. You put the boat in and I'm filming the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
No. The guy who did the video that video log.
Mhm.
He just messaged it. Send me a picture of his video log.
Fuck.
So with all the cameras that play up in one video. See that thing.
Brilliant. Wow.
So that's like the cheap way.
Yeah, that's if you can get like 9 cameras cheap.
Well, you can get like FPV drawing.
Mm.
Small. So you could have just like a small screen. Just have a small room.
Because they all have like a BNC out and power. Oh yeah, so about because I have a bunch of like the security camera videos, also like BNC ones, and if I don't plug them into that machine that actually reads them, how do you decode the signal that they're getting?
The drone one should just be copied.
Also, the drone was specific. Oh, okay, so this is just I guess some security cameras one.
Oh, because they might be like IP
Something some sort of technique. I see. Just get a ton of small drone ones.
Yeah. And then you make like a small, like you can make a small little video wall.
Fucking amazing, actually.
But then you can just reposition where that camera is seeing so that if you have specific spots that you want to hit the screens, you just like move it. And it's like no software involved. The only software would be to play up the video.
But if it has it opposite out, you can just plug it right into the TV in your shop.
Yeah.
So like this guy.
That looks like it's a wireless. You need to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have to click composite. Because like I think you would want one that doesn't have the composite or doesn't have the transmitter, so that you would have to get a real transmitter. Or yeah.
So you have a video, audio, and power.
Or like backup camera, car backup camera.
Yeah. But they're like super wide.
Yeah, that's why you might have to like put them come really close to whatever you're doing.
Gotta get a big ass screen projector.
And yeah, you can probably find one that aren't so wide.
They have like a slightly different lens on it.
Or yeah, you might be able to find like this is like a lot.
Wow. $1,000.
You don't need to call.
No. Well, again, because these TVs are not there, they're not showing.
Yeah. It's a case of
Include backup. Let's you ask for it like fucking years ago.
but
Arrival sometimes next year.
it's something like that.
Want some more water?
Sure.
I found this in all those for $5. They'll all be like an interesting better antenna. But it doesn't do anything. Not even as much as that thing. It could be. Yes, these are sort of things. So I found this thing that how on the old NEX, but it's dangerous. Plug it in one of these. So they can well, it just sits like an emulator, or also a Raspberry Pi inside, or something like that.
Is it a Raspberry Pi inside?
I wonder, it could be. Yeah, I was specifically looking for these two games that I used to play during Ukraine. One was like Contra, the one is like Battle City, real time. It's sort of like I played through the whole game. I like recorded it, put it on the screen, or like from the screen. I wanted to put those on these guys. Also spray painting these.
Oh, yeah.
They like spray painting them, so they in one like interesting color. They like this guy. I love this guy. It's already looks like an arcade installation. Yeah. And then the other ones are so here it has it has VGA and DVI, but I have this hardcore playback device. Right? Yeah. So I'll put it in, screw it in.
Yeah, I want to do that kind of thing with like if I have a particular video piece that I want to display, like
Yeah.
I have to display. It's not just a video, it's like,
Yeah, basically a video thing. Yeah. So that is ultimately that is more I feel like this way you're making something that's textual but also video.
and it's also really hard to say.
Yeah. Unless it's something unless you're doing some sort of performance and you documented the performance, I feel like you can sell it. Or if it's some sort of video, it's not if we have some notoriety around
Yeah,
it.
you have to be a famous
Yeah,
artist already.
You
Then
can-
people will buy it. But
yeah, you cannot well, you cannot casually do video work because there is no way to really easily display it for play. I remember going to this one collector's house and they had like sculptures and painters that were really done. It was part of this. It was some sort of an art fair related thing, and then they brought a bunch of people from some galleries in. And I remember they would have like a little projectors project on the wall, and that would be the video piece that they would do. Like to show it. This is some kind of like do that. You just make something like this, and then you have a masterpiece. Then it's not doesn't have to be some sort of massive, fucking super famous person who worked with it. It's just like a nice little. Those two video games I wanted to put in on this, and somehow just basically it's a little bit like the war situation because you think like, oh, old people like my age playing these games, and now in the context of the war now with the top-down drone footage of the actual battlefields, generals are seeing what a person is seeing who used to see in a game. It's the same sort of idea. You have this, and there's this super delicate thing because both of those games, if you get hit once, you die.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's got a possible. So.
then like Battlestar the displays like low motion or something.
Like, oh yeah. Because if you watch,
Have you seen the have you seen that Game Boy that's a rocket bomb?
wow.
It was like a U.S. soldier like took it to. It was like desert flood.
Oh yeah, wow, you're right. I feel like if it's Game Boy, it would be Iraq in like 2002.
No, it was in the 90s. What makes it out?
Oh wow, in the Gulf War.
Oh, okay.
Damn. So
With some missing lines.
it
It's like a Martian.
looks like this sort of level quality.
Burned in a museum. Yeah, something like that. I tried to do an installation where I had these two touch plates on the side of the monitor. It was like you just touch them, and the harder you touched it, the more glitchy the video got.
Well,
But
it's like
yeah, but it was a different. glitch look, like they kind of like really visual glitch.
Oh yeah, the little blocks.
Yeah, kind of. But no one wanted to interact with it. I had a sign that says like, please interact, please touch these. No one wanted to do it, so I was just like,
Yeah, that's the funny part about like the art pieces. Was this in Toronto? You were showing me? Like here, people are so accustomed to never touching the work. The idea of touching it is almost like overwhelming.
even said please touch,
Yeah,
please touch these things.
I remember going to Mocha, Max, like to work there now, Wisconsin, and there was an opening and I was like going around. And you couldn't even like come closer, you like freak out. I touched one map, like just a tiny bit, accidentally. You like freak out. Oh my god. And then at that same exhibit, they have this whole piece where you have to like grab a drawer and you bring it out. And you look at it, you look at the things inside of it, and nobody ever even like opened it until I like grabbed it one time. But I was already at that point. I was already yelled at to never touch anything basically. Right? So it's like fucking this interactive pieces impossible.
Yeah, it has to be the only way that people interact with it is if it's no touch. If it's like a camera sensor or something, something that tracks you, so you can move in a space and people do that. But like touching a thing, people are really moving about it. Even if there's like express permission given by the others. But then there's a weird thing that if it's I've seen things that say do not touch, like very vehemently do not touch, and I've seen like handprints on it. It's that weird thing where some people want to disobey. Because like one of the TVs in Ed's thing, someone like fucked with it. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember Ed said that.
So someone like got a screwdriver and unscrewed the thing and it fell inside the TV.
Oh, sorry. No, that one. It's not my fault, but I was present for when that happened.
Oh really?
It was one of the installer guys, but it was not the main guy. It was like his assistant or something. Was trying to put the protective with little metal protective pieces over your panels. But that one in particular, he unscrewed. He was thinking like, "Oh, I'm just unscrew them, put the metal piece, and then screw it back in," without realizing the screws were holding it was the.
But I remember that thing did work out.
Yeah.
Another point it didn't.
So then I was nearby and he's like, "Oh shit!" And I basically saw it happen. And we tried to bring it out, and I'm like, "Well, it's fine, whatever. Just leave it for now like this because he usually screwed in, so I couldn't reach and pick it out. And it was couldn't open the bag or anything.
But it just worked on the opening.
Yeah. So it opened, and what happened because it lay there after a while, the electricity there like fried the system.
Yeah.
So the thing fell there. Because I tried to move it around so that it's not touching anything, but it's still. And then maybe eventually, like, I could move it or just spend enough time there and then it out. And I told this to Alex, he's like, okay, great, it's not our fault, so it's like their installers, so they have to fix it. I really need to get. I mean, it also remote.
We didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. Look at the quality of the degradation from over there. That's what's being made, and that's what's being broadcast. I feel like it's because it's doing over the Wi-Fi. It's not high quality. It's not how my people feel like that's good. So we bring it in and plug it in. Increase the difference. Should we come see yours? Yeah. I want to see your video synthesizer so much. I've been dreaming of it.
It's pretty like I didn't quite know what you meant by like video cubist kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's basically this. But so the different shots of the same thing, slightly different.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, oh, like he was painting, or you painting a different side and just layer it on top of each other. The video would be just in time, not in visual, not like a bunch of videos stacked on top of each other, which I tried for a bit with like these kinds of inserts. Could in theory do something like this. Let's go defaults to the first one. And but it's through cutting, like you cut from one into another, but same image, so different cameras point to basically the same thing, but just slightly different angle. Cut, 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 cut. I hopefully maybe this week I can set this up and I'll show you.
Yeah, because I thought you meant like actually transforming a video into
Then I feel like that would be purely a filter, in the sense that way you're like, oh, like what AI does, like you draw me an image with cubes in mind, so you basically it would do the same thing. So there's not much. I shouldn't even use the word cubes. I just like kind of say this, find something better way. But doing that in time where you're now cutting. So as you experience, because video difference between like a video and a painting or photo is that your experience of it, of the piece, is through time. Like a photo, you look at it and you see the whole picture in you. But with video, you need to like have a time for it to develop. That's what like film works like. So then you know the character did this, and then did that, and then did that. So you build some sort of relationship with it, and then some tragedy happens or something good happens. So it evolves over time. So this is the same way where this cubist approach is over time. So then images. So even like what you were saying before, like getting shit tons of cameras and they're like changing on the timer to one another, it's not a bad idea. Then often automate some of this kind of stuff. But I was thinking like, oh, it's a little nicer video, be like by hand, because as you're switching, basically going like this, like this, you're building a narrative between cuts. It's like a Soviet editing style, where one image. Oh yeah, okay. So that's two videos,
yeah, and it's the same.
but and they're slightly off. Like one is like this and one is like that. So the sound of the violin goes into some sort of like a machine.
Sounds like a
Simulate. It's amazing.
it's stunning. Very pretty inspirational. That very like an artist. That was like probably maybe early 70s, maybe late 60s.
That sounds simulated.
I don't think it was 70s.
Wow.
I mean that might have been like when well, maybe it was 1978. But I know
Because
that,
all the video work is basically like video work is basically starting from the 70s with video. That's why it's called video work. Stuff before that you usually will call experimental film.
well, like the Protopacks and stuff came in the late 60s.
Yeah.
And they were around when they were first.
He's saying a sound goes into like something that turns it into video. It's signal, not a video like actual video signal, but some sort of signal that impedes video. Signal. Like touching, like I'm touching the
No, it's like it would be using a crossfader, and then controlling the crossfader with the audio. This is like
So crossfader is basically like this, where I cut from one into another. So this is
Yeah.
technically crossfader. Just the one with the
so like when you press that button, it's creating a ramp signal
Yeah.
that's going from A to B.
Yeah.
But then this is instead of a ramp signal, it's using the sound.
So that's called cross signal. Right?
Crossfader.
Crossfader.
Well, I mean, like I can show you on the video. So
Yeah, well, this one, I just don't know some of these. So the like Crossfader, the one that does, like DJ or something, would have a few audio signals coming in and they like that. If you send video into those, does it work the same way? No. Completely different.
there you go. Well, because remember I said about Genlock before,
Yeah.
you want both of your frames to start at the same time. If they're asynchronous and you try to superimpose them, you will get both images, but they'll be like weirdly scrolling. So you can get like, I'll give you a thing. I have a but the images will be scrolling and your color will be fucked up. So if you want like really glitchy degraded video, use it. But like if you want it to be actually accurate, you want to have Genlock sources and have a video constellation. So it's a more difficult thing. And video is a lot higher bandwidth than audio.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that DJ thing is doing, it probably cuts off at like 10 kilohertz. And video is like composite SD is like 10 megahertz. So that's why all the detail is in the megahertz range. So you won't be able to. Like,
Is it why the channels are between like until 10 basically megahertz?
Well, they're like I think they're like 400 or something.
Like these kinds of the VHF ones, they seem to be like a pretty low megahertz. And that's another thing with these antennas. They have like the higher megahertz ones and then the lower ones. And it seems like the lower ones, the ones who will actually get the video signals, like analog video signals.
Yeah, they're being modulated by they're like so whatever that carrier frequency is, 4 megahertz is being frequency modulated.
Oh. Okay. The only thing I know about this is that when I was young, like also in it's about all the Q was like antenna over the air. And this one video work I made like a long time ago. It was about us picking up and putting up a new antenna to get a better recording. So yeah, I knew as much that they're like, oh yeah, you can get the antenna, some metal, maybe higher, bigger, and it will pick up signals like from Poland or some shit, and you'll get the actual reception. Other than that, it's pretty stupid. Until it gets to some sort of digital file, I don't understand what's going on in terms of how it's made and how it is in the hard drive. That's why when we got this, it was a bit of like, oh, finally I can bring in anything I can find, any sort of video I can find, and make it into something else. Digital. Take a digital file. This is sort of like, oh, it's worth it. Because even this one guy that I know that this whole dude house, he gave me this TV, and I'm like, I looked and there's no input, into it. It's the external antenna one's broken, like a fry. This thing here. Fried is some sort of you can see it's just completely fucking it's like fire. Over the years, the metals have joined together. I'm like, fuck, there's no way I can get video of it. And then I saw some guy on Instagram, well, this friend of mine, he sent me an Instagram video that TV that I have, that kind of black one, that's one. And the guy took a RF antenna and touched this, and it sent video to it. So then I immediately tried it with just RF copper wire, touched it, and what was it? But what I noticed immediately, I don't need to actually touch it, because he was touching it with a RCA cable, basically.
Yeah.
And that one, it blocks it off. But if you just expose the wire and you near this again, boom, you have transmission on that. It was mind opening. I'm like, oh my god. It's like now it can any selection. So the only real becomes like, oh, how to actually capture this. I guess it's the complicated issue here. If you're filming the screen, you have to turn all the lights off, everything. So you just focus on the screen. Yeah, well, here you can close up pretty well. These ones come down, and at night, or in the ceiling. Yes.
Well, like if you're gonna do a small one, you can make a hood.
Yeah.
It's like a box that you can get.
But it really just in the sense like, oh, you have a video and you want to give it a little bit more flavor, especially for a video like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make, if you see, I'll make it a nice, clean video, sure. But give it a little bit more flavor where film it, this is like a 1100 pixels by like 900 or something. Make that video, record this, so that this sort of matches 11 pixels of the camera. Record that and put it into this. Now you have a little bit of extra real world filtering rather than just, oh no, I would like greens to be a little bit more here. Yeah. But these older TVs are not like this Trinitron ones, they're almost too good for this one. You can see the quality there so much. But this one, when you're filming it, there's more detail in it. Or this back here.
Yeah, it's something like yeah, so watch it nice thing. If you ever turn off your recordings.
Oh, yes. Be like, and now, guys, thank you for checking in. I have Phil, the guest, our guest tonight, the master, TV master, Hit him up. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like.